Welcome to Positive Talk Radio. We're glad you're here. I'm Kevin McDonald, your host for this grand adventure, and I thank you for joining us. You see, our mission is to create a positive, personal connection to all things with courage and love. We invite terrific guests, interesting topics, and great conversation, all in a fun, entertaining way. And we always manage to learn something, too. So I hope you will stay right where you are for this episode of Positive Talk Radio. And welcome to Positive Talk Radio. It's the day before the American holiday of Thanksgiving. I hope everybody that is in the United States is going to have a great time. And I gotta ask our guest because I just don't know. We're talking with Amanda Heel. She is, and I believe Heel is the right way to pronounce your last name. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Oh, very nice. And she is from Down Under. She's from a wonderful place, Down Under. And that's my lousy attempt at an Australian accent, by the way. It didn't go very well. But in any event...
That's all right. Sounded a bit Irish, actually, but that's okay.
I know. Well, with my last name, McDonald, it ends up being a little bit of that way. But in any event, it's great to have you here, Amanda. And you've got a website, and you're a motivational speaker, and you talk to people about what your life is like today, which it wasn't always the way it is today. And I want to talk about that to begin with, because you were a professional woman for a period of time.
I was.
And at one point in time, you said to yourself, is this all there is? I think I can do more with myself. Tell us that story.
Well, I had been working as a lawyer for 17 years. And the last 7, I had drafted legislation, which is very specialized. But I'd become a bit disillusioned with everything, and they were downsizing. The whole government was downsizing and cutting lots of jobs, and I was one of those that was cut, which was kind of good. It was terrible at the time, because I thought a government job was a job for life. And so it was absolutely devastating at the time, but it actually pushed me to do something, because I'd sit in my job and I'd look at the government gazette and think, oh, should I apply for that one? Should I apply for that one? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm over specializing. I'm just not very happy. What should I do? And yeah, so my redundancy, or being laid off as you call it, was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it forced my hand and forced me on a journey to discover my life's purpose.
I would like to talk about that for just a minute, because I truly believe that if you put out there that you really want something better, and you want something that you want to fulfill your life, at one point in time, you're going to say, is this all there is?
Mm-hmm.
Is this, am I destined to do this for the rest of my life? And suddenly fate, God, the angels, whoever you want to call it, seems to jump in and say, nope, we got a better way for you to go. But sometimes it can be like losing a job, can force your hand to do something that you didn't really, if you weren't forced to do it, you might not have done it. But I'm glad that you did it, because you are helping a lot of people to live their lives more authentically and in a really real way. And that's got to make you feel good.
Oh, it does. It does. It's what gets me up in the morning, literally. So, because I know I'm doing what I've been called to do, and it makes me happy. It really does. I know it sounds very sort of cliche, I suppose, but it really does. It makes me happy. It's what makes me tick. It's great.
It's what gets you up in the morning and fills you with purpose. And when you have a positive impact on another human being, it makes it just a special day, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. I mean, the first I was doing some coaching with a group of people, and one of them said, "Oh, this has changed my life," and it made me cry. It was really quite moving. So yeah.
It's what's really fun about the work that you do, and to some extent the work that I do, because I can bring people like you out there so that people can see you and can see the difference that you're making in other people's lives. And it really is empowering, and it's really is a cool thing. So tell us about what it is that you are doing now to help humanity and to help your fellow man.
Well, I started off with coaching and writing, and now I have pivoted into speaking. And so my aim is to speak to business leaders and their teams to help them overcome the uncertainty that we face in today's world. Because really, we face more uncertainty today than we ever have in our lifetimes, and that causes confusion and overwhelm and discouragement and ultimately loss of revenue. And so my aim is to speak to them and help them build their courage, which is what I believe that everyone needs right now is courage and loads of it.
How do you help them develop courage and develop a real game plan for what they want to do for their life? Because a lot of people are, they want change, they want to do something more, they want to do, be special in some way or form, but they don't have any idea how to go about accomplishing that. How do you teach them or talk to them about accomplishing their goals and really living an authentic life?
Well, what I do is I share stories from my life and from the lives of others as examples. And I have a 5 step teaching framework, and the acronym for it is FOCUS. Because as a blind person, I thought that focus would be kind of a cool thing. And my book's called Seeing by Vision, Not by Sight. So, FOCUS, which stands for Feast Your Eyes on the Prize, Not the Problems. Optimize your goals for outstanding outcomes, connect with your conviction for greater consistency, upgrade your courage for unbelievable results, and see your success by putting your courage into action.
Now, have you been blind your whole life?
I have, yes. I was born at just 26 weeks, and I was I was 10 inches long, and I weighed 1 pound 9 ounces when I was born, and I could actually lie across my father's hand. And they
You were
gave
the
me 2
you were the
months.
size of a puppy.
I
Uh,
was.
you were really itty bitty, teeny. I'm so glad you survived.
Yeah, well, my twin sister didn't. I was born one of twins, and my twin sister didn't survive, but I was the fighter. I was the one who tried to climb up the side of my humidity crib and tried to pull my tubes out, and had to put little mittens on me and to stop me from doing that. And, um, so they gave me, unfortunately, they couldn't measure the oxygen very well back then, and they gave me too much, and that's what caused irreparable damage to my retinas, causing total blindness.
And I can we talk about that a little bit?
Sure.
About because I find it extraordinary. Um, I mean, I'm a sighted person. I can't imagine not having my sight and being able to become a for heaven's sakes, you became a lawyer.
Mhm.
And you were able to study and you were able to move ahead. You didn't feel well, of course you were blind since birth, so that's all you
Mm.
knew. Is that
That's
still
correct. Yes, that's right. That's all I knew, but it wasn't easy. I mean, all my friends were out, drinking and doing things that uni students do, and I was at home studying because it took me longer. And I was invariably behind in my reading because back then I had to have everything read onto cassette tape. And so it would take weeks for volunteers and people like that to read things onto tape so I could then listen to them. So, and I used to listen back to lectures, to tape the lectures and listen back to them and take notes on my computer. So things took longer. And when I was studying, I did a combined commerce law degree. So I did accounting as well. And Braille is so much bigger than print. Obviously, you can only fit 25 characters to a line. So I got extra time to do my exams because they used to the like a 3 or 4 columned spreadsheet would run across 3 or 4 pages of braille, which I'd have to fold out on the floor, and kneel there with a ruler and line it all up and work out the answers.
Wow.
So it wasn't easy, but it was, I
Okay.
think it's what gave me my, I guess, my courage and my strength, and is, what I share with others.
Now, to my understanding, that when you lose one of your major senses, like you lose your sight, does that enhance your other senses?
Technically, it doesn't enhance them, but you just use them more efficiently. So I'm always listening, even like subconsciously listening. So, I can hear my dog breathing. I can hear something went beep at the other end, at your end, a while back, and I heard that and thought, I wonder what that was. And, so I'm always listening and
I'm
using
wondering
my.
too, now that you mention it. I don't know what the hell that was.
Just sounded like a notification of some kind. Um, yeah, so so if my hearing was tested against someone else of my age, it would probably be the same, but I'm just using it more efficiently.
You are, because you rely upon that and your touch, your sense of smell
Mm,
and your sense of touch and balance and all that kind of thing, it enhances all of that to
mm,
compensate, I would
yeah,
think.
which also means I get tired. Um, if I'm out, one of my biggest fears was catching buses because I
Oh,
was afraid that I'd get lost. Absolutely terrified me. To the point where a bus would go past and my heart would race. And so, but I'm very happy to tell that story. But the reason I bring it up is that when I travel by bus, I'm listening, I'm concentrating, I'm counting the stops, I'm listening to the announcements, and when I'm walking to the bus stop, I'm using all my senses to work out what's around me, where I am, because even though I use a guide dog, I still need to know where I'm going, um, and to give her the right commands. And so I come back from a journey and I'm tired, so I have to I guess regroup and get my energy back before I can go and do something else.
now I was a bus driver for 12 years.
Oh,
And
fancy.
and in Seattle,
Mm,
and I was constantly amazed
mm,
that the ability of somebody that would get on with a white cane. Obviously, they were blind, and yet they knew innately what stop to get off at.
mhm,
They could actually. I asked one gentleman one time. I said, "How do you know?" And he said, "Well, I know when you're going up a hill.
mhm,
I know when you're going down a hill. I know when you're turning left. I know when you're
yeah,
turning right. And
mhm,
I count the number of lefts and rights before I get to my next stop." And it's like, that is just remarkable, because us lazy people that have sight, and I use that um, uh, sparingly, but it's true. We don't think about things as deeply as
mm,
we could. We allow our environment. We don't look at stuff.
mm.
We're not real interested in that because it's so easy for us. But when you take that one of those away, you really have to focus in.
You do. And now there's iPhone apps. So I've got an app on my phone called Move It. And so I type in at the beginning where I am and where I want to go, and it tells me how many stops are left, and it gives me three warnings so I know when to get off the bus. And sometimes if I'm super tired, if I've done a presentation or something like that, I ask the driver, "Can you tell me when I have to get off?"
Yeah.
And most of the time they do. In fact, ironically, I actually train bus drivers now. I call them my baby bus drivers because they're learning to be bus drivers. And so I train my baby bus drivers on how to make travel more accessible for blind people.
Yes, and there was in some cases, when there are people that are blind and deaf, they hold out their hand,
Mm,
and you write into their hand
mm,
what the stop number is,
mm,
what they're trying to do, or they and that kind of thing. So,
mm.
I'm real pleased that technology has caught up to where you now can be very, very independent
Mm,
and not have to rely upon the kindness of other people or their professionalism. In a
mm,
bus driver's world, it's professionalism because in this country we have the ADA, which
mm,
is how we're supposed to live the Disabilities Act, the American
mm,
Disabilities Act, and we're supposed to be able to be trained to do that kind of thing. But a lot of us don't necessarily want to follow through with that,
mm.
and take care of folks. I'm glad that, yeah, I'm sure in Australia they're much better equipped than we are here.
Not all of them, not all of them. We have a Disability Discrimination Act as well. But I can confidently say that Canberra's bus drivers are very well trained. Because I have a hand in it. So they're well trained and they're most of them are really, really good. In fact, I mean, I shouldn't say just Canberra's. I mean, there are the Guide Dogs New South Wales ACT runs training programs all over New South Wales. But yeah, so I'm very grateful that we have well trained bus drivers in Canberra. Makes my job much easier.
Indeed, indeed. Now, when you were a little girl, I have to ask you. I assume your parents were very supportive
Yes.
of you, and I don't. I mean, I didn't know that, but I kind of assumed that they would need to be for you to be able to accomplish everything that you've accomplished in life. But was
Mm.
there a time when you were an adolescent and the other kids were off playing and doing and jumping and doing all the stuff that they were doing that you felt kind of left out, and what motivated you to be able to do all the things that you've done to become a lawyer? I That's just remarkable to me.
Thank you so much. You ask such good questions. Um, though I was a hated sport because I was bad at it, and when they forced me to do it, I was bad at it, and I really did feel left out when they were playing things like badminton. I was always fascinated by badminton. And I because they hit that cute little shuttlecock around, and it was just it sounded so much fun, and yeah, anyway, so that was certainly a time I felt left out, and I also teenagers can be cruel,
Oh
and,
yeah.
so I didn't have many friends in high school, but what I used to do is, being an only child, having to know how to sort of amuse myself a lot, I would sit in the corridor at lunchtime and I would read my books, read my textbooks. And so that actually helped me in my studies. And I actually wanted to be a physiotherapist or a physical therapist, as you call it in the US. And so I couldn't get into the regular physiotherapy schools because they threw up their hands and went, "Oh, good grief, you're a blind person. How can we possibly train you?" That was pre disability discrimination legislation. So I had to go to London to the North London School of Physiotherapy. And that didn't work out. They realized I had what was called spatial awareness problems, which is, in simple terms, I never carry bowls of soup or trays or anything like that because I have trouble holding them level. And I do sometimes get disorientated in large open spaces. So they said, "Oh, no, 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 go back and do something more academic." So I'm sitting in my aunt's lounge room in London, crying my eyes out, going, "I would just wanted to be a physio, and what can I do now?" And she said, "You've got a good brain. Why don't you study law?" So I did.
I can tell you that I know a bunch of people that can't carry that are sighted people that can't carry soup on a tray either.
Yeah, it's
So
tricky.
so that they lack the spatial awareness and they've got sight. So I
True.
I think what you've done, and so you decided that being a lawyer would be a good thing,
Yeah.
and so you worked. How long did it take you to get through law school?
7 years because I did, as I said, a combined commerce law degree. I actually didn't have the marks to get into law to start off with. So I got into commerce because I knew it had something to do with numbers and I liked maths. I was always very good at maths at school. And I thought to be a mathematician, what could I do with that? Maybe just be a teacher. So I thought commerce, accounting, that would be all right. So started studying that. And then in my second year of commerce, I did an introductory business law unit. And absolutely loved it, and went to the dean of the law school and said, "Oh, please, can I transfer to into law? I'm getting a credit average in commerce." And he said, "Oh, look, we don't like people doing just straight law degrees. Why don't you do a combined degree? Normally takes 5 years, but I did it in 7 because I would do one less subject each semester." And yeah, so it took me 7 years to get the combined commerce law degree, and I ended up graduating with law in honours. Honours in law, I'm sorry, honours in law. Goodness me.
Well, so you graduated with honors,
Mhm,
basically, and then you went to work as a lawyer with the government for 17
mhm.
years,
Yep.
and and I know that at one point they were downsizing, as it were,
Mhm.
and you called it another term. What was the term that you used?
I took a redundancy, which is like a severance package.
Oh, so redundancy. See, in in our in here, that redundancy means a duplicate kind of thing.
Yeah.
What
Well,
is that?
it does here too. It means you're excess to requirements. They don't need you anymore, so you're made redundant.
Oh,
It's very literal.
that sucks.
Yeah, it is actually. It's it's pretty bad. It makes you feel really unwanted and it's awful. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm redundant. I'm not worth
Yep.
anything.
Mhm.
Oh,
That's exactly how it felt.
oh,
Yes.
I don't blame. That's horrible.
Yes.
So, but you know what? You decided that you weren't going to be redundant,
Mm.
and that you were going to be very special, and so now you are speaking, and you are doing motivational speaking,
Mhm.
and you've got a wonderful website. I love the
Thank you.
website, which is called Purpose Vision Future, um, and it's about you and what you're doing with yourself, and helping people. And it's, as an example, does your life lack meaning or significance? You can really lead a meaningful and fulfilling life. There's I have to tell you, there's a little saying that I use, and it shocks people if they haven't heard it before. And it's like, I will tell somebody, when you woke up today, your life was empty and meaningless. And they're like,
Ooh.
what do you mean my life is empty and meaningless? I've got meaning. I'm special. And I said, no, you don't understand. When you wake up this morning, your life is empty until you fill it up with whatever you like. And it's meaningless until you assign meaning to it.
Oh, amen to that. I like that. That's great.
So assign the best meaning that you can and fill it up with whatever you want, and the sky's the limit. And you are a living, honest to goodness proof of that, Amanda.
Thank you. I like to say to people if they're not living out their purpose, they're just marking time until they die.
And one of the things that I've talked to people in hospice in this country, and
Mm.
people that are near their death, and to a person, it isn't about the money they made, it isn't about the mark they left. But it's about, did they fulfill their purpose? Were they there for
Absolutely.
their kids? Did they really do everything that they wanted to do? Whether or not you made money at it was not the point.
No.
Did you do what your soul called you to do? And most people say, no, I didn't.
Oh, that's really sad.
It really
That
is.
must be some tough conversations. My income's halved, more than halved, and I'm happier than I've ever been.
Oh, congratulations. I think that we need to get your income back to where it belongs.
Oh, yes, please. Some paid speaking work would be really good. COVID, I decided to pivot into speaking just before COVID hit.
Oh,
And
lovely.
so it kind of really didn't happen, which is why I wrote my second book, which is
Which
underneath
the
all
name of
the
the book,
stuff.
that book is?
Seeing by vision, not by sight. How to discover your life's purpose and put it into action. And I hope I'm not holding it upside down. I shouldn't be.
Nope, you're holding it right, but if you can move it slightly to your right. Perfect, right there, right there. Seeing by vision, not by sight. That is one. How when did you finish that book?
I launched it in March this year.
How's it doing?
It's I haven't really pushed it that hard because I'm working on getting my speaking career up and going. But yeah, it's selling. It's selling. Yeah, I usually sell a reasonable amount of copies when I speak. Yeah.
Oh, very nice, very
Mm.
nice. And when you speak, what exactly are you talking about? What are you telling them?
Well, I tell stories in within my 5-step teaching framework, which I outlined before. So I talk about overcoming fear. I talk about uh, so I'll tell the story about how I was terrified of catching buses and how I hadn't caught one for 20 years, and then uh, I get offered a job as a public relations speaker for Guide Dogs New South Wales and ACT just after I finished my speaking training, and it's like, oh yay, I can do this. This is I'll be able to improve on my speaking skills, and it'll be great. But oh, then I have to catch buses. That's so that I just about nearly threw up in the interviewer's lap when she told me that. Um, but then I realized that I just finished reading John C. Maxwell's book, Everyone Communicates If You Connect. And in his book, he says you have to be a good communicator, you have to be authentic. And I thought, well, gosh, I can't stand up in front of a crowd of people and talk about independence if I'm being driven everywhere. So I did undertook 2 weeks intensive training, and I learnt how to catch buses again. And so I talk about that. I talk about setting goals and meaningful goals and breaking them down into bite-sized pieces and how that builds courage. I talk about uh, conviction. I talk about how your passion, how your purpose, it drives you to do what you know you need to do. I talk about how building courage is like building a muscle. You have to, because I used to actually do deadlifting. I used to, in the days when I was young and a little slimmer, I used to be able to lift almost twice my body weight, 1.5 times my body weight.
Wow.
100 kilos, that's 2.2, 200, no, 2.2 pounds to the kilo, 220 pounds I used to be able to lift.
Wow.
Um, and can't lift that now because I haven't done it for a while. But I had to build up those muscles, and once I built them up, I had to keep them strong so I could keep lifting. And so courage is the same. You have to. It's like a muscle. You build it up, and then you have to keep it strong, or it kind of wastes away. And then I end up with telling a lovely story about how I wanted to travel to Vegas because between becoming a John C. Maxwell speaker, trainer, and coach, and losing my legal job, I sold skincare through a network marketing company, and they had a conference, and I wanted to go to the conference, and all the other people who were going from Australia were taking holidays with their families and sort of leaving early and coming back late, and I couldn't afford to do that. So I just had to go and, come back straight back. So I had to travel on my own. So that terrified me because it's like, gosh, if I get lost between here and Vegas, this could be really bad. So, but, organized it all and with the travel agents and the airports, and everyone was lovely. And I got there and went to the conference, and it was great. And then on the day that I was meant to come back, I was meant to meet up with another uh, skincare consultant, but she came up with a better offer.
Oh, wow.
Young girl, she was, good 20 years younger than me, and she was invited to a party at another hotel, so off she went, and, I don't blame her, to be honest, and to cut a very long story short, I was sitting in the VIP lounge of the MGM Grand because they felt sorry for me, they had 6 hours to wait, and I ended up meeting the CEO of the skincare company, and who came and saw the logo on my bag, and I met her. It's like, oh my gosh, it's Kate. Oh wow. And she said, oh, and I said, oh well, hey, meeting you will make the next 6 hours worth it. Sitting here in the lounge. And she said, have you eaten? I went, no. I'll organize something, she said, and we'll put it on the company account. So the next minute I get tapped on the shoulder by the head butler of the MGM Grand. He takes me up to the Sky Lounge, which is the penthouse of the MGM Grand where all the famous people go, and gives me lunch and treats me like a princess for the afternoon. And to top it all off, he said, "Oh, how are you getting to the airport?" And I said, "Oh, I was just going to call a cab." He said, "Oh, that's okay. You can go in one of our cars." And so we get down the bottom of the MGM Grand again, and I'm not even allowed to touch my luggage. That goes in a separate elevator with the hotel manager, not just the bellboy, but a hotel manager. And out the back of the MGM Grand is a Rolls Royce. So they put me on Rolls Royce, and I rode to the airport with the butler, and it was just amazing. And the reason I tell that story is if I'd taken the easy option and just asked for a late checkout and sat in my room, I wouldn't have had that experience. But instead, I took the brave option, went downstairs, faced the possibility of sitting in a lounge on my own for 6 hours, and ended up being treated like a princess for the afternoon.
And do you think that perhaps that was predestined to happen for you? Did you feel like you got a message in like your mind that said, "Wake up and be courageous and go do this thing," and then this is
Yes.
the result?
Yes. Another place where I tell that story is if I ever have to talk about attitude. And so I used to call that story an attitude of gratitude attracts, positive things. Not that I'm into the law of attraction, but yes, I definitely did believe that that was destined for me. So that was really cool. Something I'll never forget.
Absolutely. Well, and I'll tell you, I believe in the law of attraction with a twist.
Mhm.
And that twist is you set your intentions, you decide what it is that you want to do, what you want to be passionate about, and then you work your rear end off to get it done.
Absolutely.
And like what you've done is you've worked very hard to get where you're at. That is, by the way, an absolutely wonderful story. And it pulls at your heart.
Hmm.
And that is, it is so cool that number one that happened to you. Now, was that Mary Kay? Was this?
No, no, it was Arbonne. Her
Oh,
name was the then CEO was Kay Napier.
oh
So,
wow.
mm,
And so that was a big deal because in those conventions, and the reason that you got all of that was because she had just spent a tremendous amount of money in that hotel, uh,
mm,
booking the because everybody came there and stayed, and she booked the ballroom, and they had
yep.
a great deal, and so she was somebody of note, and I'm glad that she turned out to be everything that you hoped that she would be.
Oh, she is a lovely, lovely woman. Yep.
And and there are lots and lots of people that uh, are lovely people, and
Mm,
we don't get to meet all of them,
mm.
but I think it's really terrific what you're doing, and
Thank you.
being a positive motivational speaker and getting out there. Now that takes for you, for anybody really, because a lot of people have trouble standing up in front of anybody and talking. But for you, it must have been a real courageous thing for you to do, to stand up in front of a bunch of people and to talk the
Actually,
way
really,
you
it's
do.
not. I can
Oh,
talk
really?
underwater. I can talk underwater. I've tried it, and I think that's why I know that I'm called to be a speaker because whether it's 30 people, whether it's 300, whether it's, potentially 3,000, bring it on. Um, I excuse me, speaking in front of a crowd doesn't scare me at all.
Well,
I find it easy, easy. I mean, it's hard to do it well, yes, but it's easy. I'm not afraid of speaking in front of people, not at all.
and I will tell you this, that in looking at you and looking at your face, your smiling face, I would listen to you all day long.
Oh, thank you.
Because that it is really awesome what you're doing and what you're accomplishing, and tell us and everybody about focus one more times, and then how can we get in touch with you?
Okay, focus stands for feast your eyes on the prize, not the problem. Optimize your goals for outstanding outcomes. Connect with your conviction for greater consistency. Upgrade your courage for unbelievable results. And finally, see your success by putting your courage into action. And my you can contact me by going to purposevisionfuture.com or amandaheal.com.au. And all my contact details are there. And if you would like to book me to speak, or if you would like to buy my book, they're both available on either of those sites.
And the name of the website again is purposevisionfuture.com.
Mhm.
And go there and find out all about the work that she's doing. Now, I can't believe that you don't have a plan. I'm sure you do. What is your plan? What are you going to do next?
What am I going to do next? My 100% focus is getting paid speaking work at the moment. So I am getting my speaker website up and running. I've just had my show reel filmed, which is the speaker's advertising video. I've got all that's kind of sitting in the staging thing, waiting for me to press the button and make it go live. And then I'm going to work with an agent to run a sales campaign to get my first 3 paid speaking gigs.
Are
That's my
you
plan for the
familiar?
next few months.
That's a great short-term goal. Are you familiar with in this country they're called TED Talks?
Yes, I would love to do a TED Talk. That would be very cool.
I think that you should, and when your publicist gets up and running, let them know about the TED Talks, because you would be tailor made to be a speaker with that, and that, by the
Oh,
way, adds
thank
tremendous
you.
amounts to your resume.
Thank you so much. That's really made my day that you feel I'm worthy of a TED Talk. Thank you.
Oh, are you friggin' kidding me? You are, excuse the expression, but you're one ballsy lady. I got to tell you, you are tough,
Thank
and
you.
have a gift, and you've got energy that is just awesome, and you are destined. I believe that you're destined for great things, both as a writer and an author, and also as a speaker. And because people are going to look at you and say, I want what she's got.
I hope so. My long-term goal is to write a book about courage. I was going to write a book about courage last year, and then a book coach said to me, "Don't write a book about courage, rewrite your first book." So my little 83-page paperback first book, which I published in 2018, was then turned into the 250-page hardcover, which you saw. But now I would like to write a book about courage.
I think that would be really cool. And the third book that you need to write a book is you need to, well, you don't need to do anything, but I would suggest that how to eliminate fear in your
Oh,
life,
yes,
because
absolutely.
fear is something that paralyzes people,
It does.
and if you can't get past the fear, then you're not going to achieve your goals.
Mhm. Mhm. That's very true.
So
That's
it's
very true.
that's one of the slogans I use is um, on one of the shows I do is called Independence Report, and that's because we're
Mm,
declaring our freedom from hate, division, and fear. And
nice.
it really is. And if you're going to accomplish anything in life, I believe that you need to believe in who you are, and to do the best things, to be kind to people, and to take care of other people, and to work with folks, and get rid of the fear of
Mm,
that you can do anything
mm,
if you set your mind to it, and you're
mhm.
you're living proof of that.
Thank you.
I'm still stuck with the fact that you became an attorney. uh,
Yes,
that's hard to do.
it is.
So and you did really well. Are your parents still with us?
My father is not. My mother still is. Yes, she's 89. She's amazing. She's 89 and she's still fit and healthy and got a really sharp mind and yeah, she's amazing.
She must be really proud of you.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I
Is
call him my voice of reason. My mum is my voice of reason. I get all excited about things and I jump into things, boots and all. And mum goes, "Hey, hang on a sec. Will that earn you income? Will that, will that really do you as much good as you think it will? Or, so I used to call her my handbrake in the nicest possible way, but now I call her my voice of reason.
And we all have a voice of reason somewhere in there, but I'm also going to tell you to follow your passion, and
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
and not to, when somebody says no, you can't do that, or no, don't do that, or that's not the right thing to do, but you feel confident and passionate about it. Follow your heart, follow
Mhm.
your passion, not follow your head.
Mhm.
That's that's my philosophy anyway.
It's true. Yep. That's one of the 3 steps in discovering your life's purpose. Examine your past, examine your present, and examine your passions and dreams. And then you'll find the themes which point you towards your life's purpose.
Exactly. Now, who wrote that? I got to
Me.
look them up. Oh, you did. See? There you are. There you
It's in
are.
my book. Yeah.
Say that again. That is so true. Say it again.
To discover your life's purpose, you first examine your present, you examine your past, and then you examine your passions and dreams. And there you'll see themes which point you towards your life's purpose.
That's very, because your life purpose, you like to speak in front of people, and you like
Yeah.
to help people,
Hmm.
and I think that you're picking the exact right thing that you should be doing, and I can see you in front of 3,000 people.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it on. I would love to be on that stage in Vegas in the Garden Arena in front of 16,500 skincare consultants.
There you
That would be
go.
amazing.
There you go. Are you still doing the network marketing thing?
No, no, no,
Ah,
no.
uh,
That was a very good stepping stone. I learned a lot of things there about myself and about other people and about leadership. And that's where I discovered John Maxwell, who I absolutely adore. His teaching is just amazing. But no, that's not what I was meant to do. I'm meant to inspire and encourage others, not sell them stuff.
I have a quick story about that
Mm,
I've shared before, but it bears repeating. But this is a moment of life, or not just about network marketing, but because you did that, you understand where, when I say this, where I'm coming from. I was involved in a network marketing program, and of course, I'm gullible. I joined Amway 3 times, and
mhm.
I never made a nickel. And but so I joined them, but I joined this other company, and I was determined. I was doing radio at the time, and I was determined to make this work. And so me and 5 other people um, got together with a coach, and his name was Kirk. He lived in Vegas, as a matter of fact, and so he would coach us every day. And he'd say, "You got to go do this. Got to go do that. Got to go talk to these people. Got to go talk to that." And we were all sitting there going, "Golly, this is so hard. This is difficult. I don't know that we can do this. It's hard to do this."
Mhm.
And we all had this attitude. And then one day, one of the gals came in, and she said, "You know what? We've got it all wrong. This is easy. I can do this. This is no problem at all. I can do this." And we all were saying, "Oh, yeah, that's you, but it's hard. We think it's really hard." And she ended up today, she is a multimillionaire in that company.
Wow.
All
No,
the
some
rest,
people are just cut out for that. They really are.
well,
Yep.
but what she did as an overall theme was she decided that whatever it is that she was going to do, rather than it being hard and difficult, and you're not going, and it's going to be difficult to achieve success, she took the attitude, "Well, it's easy. I
Hmm.
can do this, just like you are. I can do this. You can speak. You can speak in front of 16,000 people.
Hmm.
You can do all that because it's going to be easy for you. You
Hmm.
are a dynamic individual. You've got a great soul and a great energy to you. And I applaud you for what you're doing. You're just awesome."
Thank you so much.
But that's just me.
And you're awesome too. I like you. I'm enjoying this interview very, very much. I'm so glad we didn't have to postpone. I think our minds work in a similar way.
Well,
You know.
I am, and I appreciate you and your willingness to rebook and figure out and go from the here and there, but we got together, and you're just delightful. You just really are. And
Thanks. Likewise.
I'm looking forward to working with you in the future. If there is anything ever that I can do for you to promote you or to help you, and just let me know. As a matter of fact, I would like to invite you back onto the show
Oh,
if you would like to
thanks.
come back.
I'd love to. I'd love to talk to you some more. I love chatting with you. It's great.
Well, awesome. I really enjoy chatting with you, and you've got such power behind you that, and quite frankly, Amanda, you don't know how powerful you are yet, but you will.
Thank you.
And you've got a sense of it. But you're going to be very, very powerful. And you're gonna be standing in front of a lot of people, helping people understand that they can do it. They can do it. All you got to do is do it, and you can do it. So,
You're
so
getting
there.
better with that accent.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Amanda Heal has been our guest, and she is awesome. Go to her website again, Amanda. It is
Purposevisionfuture.com.
purposevisionfuture.com. Go there, and by the way, and if you want to hire Amanda to come speak in front of your group, how do they do that?
Go to purposevisionfuture.com and contact me.
Very good, very good.
Mhm.
And you are going to be paid, and you're going to be paid quite handsomely.
Oh gosh. Yes, thank you. Bring it on.
And that is, it's just phenomenal. So, Amanda Heal. Now, this is a time of the show. We're coming to the end, and I want to give you the opportunity to tell our audience anything that's on your heart, anything that you'd like them to know about you or about anything in the world. Go ahead.
Gosh. Well, if you're facing a challenge that seems to be insurmountable, you've got this. You can do it. All you need to do is dig down deep and find the courage, which I know is inside you, and you'll be able to face that challenge and overcome it. You may not have faith in you, but I have faith in you. So go face your challenge and overcome it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to thank you. You've actually, um, you've helped me during this interview.
Really? How so?
Um, because I believe that you have got courage beyond measure, and you understand, and if you can do what you've done, I'm not going to become a lawyer. I'm not that smart. But if you can do what you've done, I can do this and make it work, um, and have it be as big as I choose for it to be.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Love it.
And that's
Love it.
because of what you're continuing to provide that for folks, and I thank you so much. And if somebody wants to buy your book again, can they go to Amazon to get it?
They can. It is on Amazon, but you can also get it from my website.
Oh, buy it
It's
from her website. She gets the whole amount if you do
yeah.
that.
Thank you. And yes, so it's on Amazon. It's on my website. You can buy it in all good bookstores. They can order it in for you. It's on Apple Books. And one day when spring goes away, and actually I don't have a croaky voice this morning, but when spring goes away and my croaky voice goes away for good, I will read it onto audible.com as well.
Oh, how many pages is it?
250.
250.
Hmm.
We need to talk,
Yeah, cool.
because one of the things that I've done in the past is I do voiceovers.
You have a nice voice for voiceovers. Hmm.
Mm,
That's why
interesting.
you're in radio.
Well, I got into radio before I figured out that I had a nice voice for voiceovers. So who knew?
Ah,
Who knew? It was just all by magical design. And one of these days, I'll have to tell my complete story because it is pretty magical. Um,
I would
and
love to hear that.
it's got its ups and downs. And I
Mm,
a period of my life was like a bad country music song. You know what that is?
yes. You should write a book.
People tell me that, and but I talk better than I write is the thing. So, but
Yep. Yep.
I can talk into now. Do you use automated software that you can talk into it to write what your thoughts are?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I use Siri to dictate short messages and things like that. But I learnt to touch type when I was 7. And so now I'm 51. So I've been touch typing for many years. And so I use VoiceOver on a Mac, which reads the screen. And so I type away frantically and yep. So I use VoiceOver on a Mac and also on my iPhone. I'm an Apple girl through and through.
Perfect. Now, so you mean you can type with more than 2 fingers?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
See,
Yep.
you are talented. I'm still a 2-finger typist. So
Oh,
on my keyboard. So in any event, Amanda, thank you so much. Amanda Heal's been our guest. The name of your book is, again,
seeing by vision, not by sight.
Seeing by Vision, Not by Sight, because she's got a vision for all of you, and she can help you reach your vision with courage and love. And you are just awesome. So thank you, Amanda. And I sadly I have to leave, but we're going to have you back again. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
So you wait right there and I'll be right back.
Hey, and thanks for listening to this episode all the way to the end. Hey, pretty cool. Hey, don't forget to follow us so you can receive regular updates and new posts. And remember, take care of each other because each other's all we've got. See you next time on My Independence Report.